Hello everyone, welcome to the Northland Artist Conversation. My name is Mark Kelly. I am your host, your guide, your intrepid explorer. I am your Sherpa up the mountain of knowledge that is Northland Artists. Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you. It's been a very cool year so far. We've had a lot happen. We've had some amazing guests come through, and we still continue to have them as well, which is great. And today's guest is absolutely no different from that as well. I'm going to flick to my camera. Today's guest is Ashlee. Editor Lee, what is Ashlee's last name, please?
Ashlee Campbell.
Ashlee Campbell. The reason I say that, know a few Ashleys, and we've had an Ashlee Ellis on the podcast before, so it's nice to make sure that we get the names correct. I don't want to confuse anyone, because I think that's a bit rude. So Ashlee Campbell. Ashlee is man, how do I describe Ashlee? She's disciplined. She is focused, razor sharp on what she wants to do and where she wants to go. She's so cool. She is absolutely amazing. Serves a mean takeaway as well, which is great. But just a lovely person around. It was nice, good bit of banter back and forth. Some I won't say inappropriate comments, but definitely a few little minor ones, which is actually always quite nice. She talked about her time, going through school, some of the struggles she had there, and then going into North Tech and her current job. Man, for someone that's 23 years old, she's already ticked off a lot of her life experiences. Just so cool and amazing too. So I'm going to shut up. You guys enjoy this one. Let's sit down and have a conversation with Ashlee Campbell. A starting point.
Oh, this is real quiet.
I know. Yeah, Yeah, I think each podcast is different. This could be very awkward. Let's not make this an awkward podcast.
It wasn't awkward until you went.
I know.
Yeah.
But then you froze.
You froze. You looked at me.
Yeah. Because I was gonna see if you would be like, "Oh fuck, I'm on now. I've got to."
I'm professional, please.
Yeah, I know. That's why I froze, because I was like, let's see what she does.
Me looking at you. You looking at me, and then me looking at you.
Yeah. But, here we are.
Here we are.
Ashlee.
Mark.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Northland Artist Conversation. It's been lovely. Keep all this in, Lee. Editor Lee, this has been hilarious.
Thank you, Leger.
Leger. We agreed to never say that again.
I could doubt myself. It just slipped out.
Fair play. I'm not gonna. If you do feel like rocking in the chair, just make sure you take the microphone with you a little bit as well. So it's got to travel. You've got to keep it quite close to your mouth.
To my nozzle.
Yeah, that. Yes. To the nozzle. All right. So this one, I think this is going to be quite a different podcast. I get the vibe that it's not going to be kind of our normal sort of podcast that we do. Reason I say that is because we only met. Now this podcast is going to come out. I don't know, around July. We've got that much in the can at the moment, so it's a couple months away.
Right,
like
thanks.
3 months. Yeah. But we met the night of the Northland Artist Conversation 2-year anniversary.
Mm-hmm. At Roost. Yeah.
At Roost. Great night.
Yeah.
That was really cool. A lot of fun. A lot of people turned up, which was nice. It wasn't a complete failure.
No, it was fun.
It was. I had such a good time seeing all the artists perform, and a lot of things blew me away, and everything just went well. But we didn't meet until then, and Leger introduced us and said, you should be on the podcast. And you were like, oh, stop it. And then I pulled out my phone and said, what date works for you? And
then I lost all the colour in my face.
Yeah. When you realised what was actually happening.
Yeah.
We're actually doing this. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Doing it.
So, yeah, thank you. I know that, it can be quite daunting and that peer pressure is not always a good thing, but it's nice that you're here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. Thanks, LeJJ. I'm so excited to be here.
That's going to stick, unfortunately. I'm changing that in the group chat too, Editor Lee.
Yes. yes on it. Love.
Definitely.
Love that for you.
Yeah. Okay, so we have had a lot of a wide range of guests. Now, your creative output is
Graphic design.
graphic design.
Yep.
And you're quite young in your journey. Yeah? Like, you haven't been doing it for terribly long.
No.
And we're not talking decades here.
No. It's been like a minute.
Right.
Maybe 5.
Maybe the real answer is?
In my actual career path now, just over a year.
Okay.
But I've
and
had
in
the interest
graphic design?
Longer, probably since high school. I really liked it. But taking it professionally as my job, about just over a year.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So I always like to kind of go back to, we're going to have the origin story. Yeah. So when you were a kid, was your household filled with creativity, or?
Yep. My dad is, and my auntie's a sewer, and my dad is very paint and drawing driven.
Right, okay.
So it was like not pushed, but it was always in my house.
Right.
Like crayons and paints. I actually broke both my arms painting, which was really sick.
I feel like there's a story, and we'll get to that. You broke both your... That's okay, I once broke my leg playing chess. So... I'm kidding, I just wanted to see what you do. All right, so what, was Mum creative at all?
No.
No, what?
Purely got it from my dad. My
Really?
mum, yeah, purely. As far as my genetics go, I'm a carbon copy of my dad. And my brother is a carbon copy of my mum. So I got the creative genes.
Yeah.
I look like him, and my auntie, just all creative, yep.
Wow. So when did you first sort of start having an inkling that you wanted to, draw and create and stuff like that? Was it really early on, or were you the kid that goes, here's a crayon, here's some wallpaper, scribble, 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 and then parents come in?
Yeah. I mean, in school, I was that annoying little child that had to take a creative thing to the next level. And it paid off in the long run because I won like little awards and things for it. And I was always like a top drawer in a class or a painter or just anything creative. I was all over it. Like, I loved it. And it's just like a little outlet. I can put everything on a piece of paper. I love little DIYs. I still love doing DIY crafts, which is what I do in my spare time, like macrames or like little I'm getting into like sewing or like little hand stitch things, just something different that I've never done before.
Do you find it difficult being 46 trapped in a 23-year-old's body?
Oh no, I love it.
Okay, cool.
I'm waiting for the rest time. It couldn't come quick enough.
Excellent. Yep. The doilies won't make themselves.
No, neither will my macrame coasters.
No.
To hold my said cup of tea, I want to knit some slippers. I'm putting it in here now. I'll have a whole slipper range.
Well, look, but when you come on next, because we always like to invite our guests back on, if you happen to have some knitted slippers and you've got your own line, we'd love to see them.
Yeah. Oh.
So when you're in primary school, I've got to try and keep this on task. When you're in primary school, and you're kind of creating, are you academic, or are you like just I don't want to do maths or science or English or any of that sort of stuff. I just want to learn different art styles, basically.
Maths can lick my left foot. I hate it.
Okay.
I failed all 5 years in high school.
Wow.
I cannot. It's only now where I've like sorted my shit out and know how to do maths, because I have to do it every single day. But if it was up to me, maths wouldn't have been created. It was like one of the weakest subjects. And it actually was like degrading on my mental health because I couldn't do maths to save my life. Yeah, it was terrible. In high school, I was always behind. Primary school, I was always behind in maths. It was just maths, just couldn't do it. I just refused because I just didn't have it in me.
Didn't connect with you at all?
Didn't connect with me at all. I thought I had it. Come to a test, you failed by like 7 marks. And I'm like, nice. I thought I did well. I ended up having tutors like...
Wow, okay. Yeah. And the tutors from like primary school?
Yep.
Or wow.
Primary school.
Okay.
High school, we had like 03, 02, 01.
Yeah.
01 is you're an Einstein. 03, that was me.
Right, okay.
Like barely scraping. Like
Yeah.
when I tell you I failed, I probably should not be saying this, but I would like cheat because I was so desperate to actually pass a maths exam.
What are they going to do? Are they going to go retroactively go back and, well,
Literally.
she's acknowledged that she cheated. Let's let's give her the shitty mark
like-
that she already got. Let's make it worse.
Like I would seriously just be like, okay, or like my friends would be like, wait, like this is it. Because I was so desperate to
Wow.
have. I wouldn't say like necessarily, I wouldn't like write on my skirt like the other girls, but I would, like.
We're just letting out all the secrets
It's
now.
just like, it was so hard for me.
Yeah, okay.
So hard.
And is that because you were focused more on the creative side?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
When did that sort of start becoming a little bit more serious for you?
Creative.
Yeah,
High school.
definitely not maths,
Not maths.
but being creative.
High school.
Okay.
I knew going to high school, I was like, okay, these are my years to figure out like what am I going to do when I leave, and like as far as like children go between me and my brother,
Yeah.
my parents pushed me to, you need to sort out what you want to do. So from an early age, it was I need to find out what I want to do with my like career.
Right.
So when I hit high school, especially my senior levels,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I need to settle my subjects. Because if I take this, will this amount to what I do in the future? Like, I loved
Right,
dance.
okay, yeah.
Because, again, it's another kind of creative, expressive outlet.
Yeah, absolutely.
But will I be a professional dancer? Probably not. I did want to at some point,
Okay.
but not now.
When did dancing sort of come into play for you?
About 4.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so you went with the crayons and paints and stuff and dancing
Yep.
at the same time. That's interesting.
Yep. I did tap
Okay.
from about 4 to 5, and
Yeah.
then I did ballet. And I was convinced I was going to the Royal Academy of Ballet
Yeah.
until about 11, 12, and I got glandular fever.
No.
And so I dropped like 20 kgs, couldn't dance anymore. I was
Wow.
sick for a year,
Yeah.
year and a half. It wiped me out.
Yeah.
And then obviously I had to quit. So
Yeah.
then I went back and I just lost the passion for it.
Yeah, okay. That would be tough because how old are you when glandular fever hits?
I think I was like 10.
So quite
11.
like really young.
I was really young. I was
Yeah,
still in
wow.
primary.
Yeah.
Just about to go to intermediate.
Okay.
Because then I stopped at intermediate. And then into high school, I tried one more year.
Right.
And I just couldn't hack it. I lost the passion for it. And it's like a little girl's dream.
Yeah.
I'm not 5.
Yeah.
Like, this was great. And then as soon as I got older, I was like, actually, I don't think I want to do this.
Okay. Let's unpack that a little bit. Do you
So-
think that was because you lost the passion, or do you think it was because you started associating dance with sickness?
Yeah, so the most cutthroat thing about dance is it's skinny girls or nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when I was sick, I had lost all this weight.
Yeah.
And then obviously when you get better, you put the weight back on.
Yep.
So
yep.
you go back and you're like, oh, me and Sally are not the same size.
Yeah. Right.
We used to be when we were 7
Yeah.
or 8, and now I'm 10. I'm still slim, but I'm now been really sick.
Yeah.
Lost all this weight. I've got to put it back on to go back to dance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you just lose. Like, I lost my flexibility. I lost the passion for it.
Muscle mass and
Muscle
all that
mass,
stuff
yep.
goes as well. Yeah.
I used to be very, very strong and fit.
Yeah.
And then obviously when you get sick, you just lose everything.
Yeah, and for,
Yeah.
for such a long period of time as well, if you had glandular fever and it kind of wiped you out for
Yep.
6 months, for example,
Yep.
I mean, that would be different. But if
Yeah.
you're talking for a year,
It really like stuffed my immune system.
Yeah,
And I was just on meds round the clock. And
Yeah.
then obviously going to high school, and I went to an all-girls school.
Mm-hmm.
With the girls I went to ballet with,
right, okay, yeah,
it's like, oh, you know what? This is a whole nother kettle of fish. Like, it was just...
becomes clicky.
Yeah. So the girls, putting it lightly, I was here
Yeah,
and they were here.
right, okay, yeah,
I was very much an outsider.
Yeah.
I always have been. I got relentlessly bullied in school.
Mm-hmm.
Intermediate, relentlessly bullied. And then high school, it kind of fizzled off.
right,
But
okay,
the dance girls were here
yeah,
and I was here.
okay,
Which is obviously nothing to do with them. It's just kind of how it is. Popular girls click, and if you're
Yeah.
not popular,
yeah, not one of the cool cats.
yeah, not Not a cool cat.
No.
Was not a cool cat. I am now, but not back then.
Yeah.
So
That must be tough because you devote so much time and effort and energy, and training dance. It's not it's not something you can go. Well, I don't really need to do a lot of practice. You do a lot of practice. It costs a lot of money, competitions and all that sort of stuff.
It is expensive.
And ballet, because you've got your shoes with your points and stuff like that as well. Yeah.
And when you're 5, your point shoes or your ballet shoes, they last a total of 6 months because your feet grow.
Yeah.
And then, oh shit, I need a leotard because I'm going from a size this to a size this.
Yeah.
And then my issue was my height, as I was always a tall kid.
Right. Okay.
And so it was constantly, my height was I was just shooting up so rapidly.
Wow.
And then it's just so expensive for what?
Yeah.
Like, literally for what? Obviously, these girls are doing amazing things, but for me, I just...
Could you still do your positions now? If you had to, I'm not asking you to do them now.
No.
The first, second, third, and fourth?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
The Grand Jeté?
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, so I did a degree in drama. Part of that is there's a dance component into it.
Yep.
Dance was never something I did as a kid, but it turns out I actually have a real affinity for dance. And I did ballet and...
Twinkle toes.
Yeah, pretty much. And I can still do first, second, third, and fourth. I'm not going to do them here because the wide camera would pick up my feet, but I don't really feel like making an ass of myself. I can do it perfectly fine just by talking, apparently. That's crazy, man. Yeah. So high school was kind of a real turning point for you then, yeah?
Yeah. I was like, I do not want to be a loser. Basically, like that's how I felt through primary and intermediate.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm actually like a loser. And looking back, I was being a bit dramatic, but at the time, you think that you're just everything that you're not. So then in high school, I was like, right, I'm gonna find me some new friends and figure out what I want to do with my life because I've ditched dance, don't want to do it, don't like it anymore.
Yeah.
So, arts. Painting.
Well, it's still dance is still arts, right?
I did dance in high school because it wasn't serious.
Okay.
It was something that I can just kind of like an easy subject.
Right.
Like.
Is it? Wait, dance is a subject at high school?
Yeah.
Really?
And the teacher that I had, she actually taught me tap when I was 5.
Ah, crazy.
And so
cool.
I hadn't seen this woman in like
8 years.
8 years, and then hello, I'm a high school, and she was like, "Oh my gosh." And me and one of the girls that I did ballet with were in the same class. So she was like, I used to do these, used to teach these little cherubs.
Yeah.
And now, but it was like a really easy, just chill out, relaxing. And it was one thing that I got really good marks in.
Okay.
Like I was getting excellences because it was like a comfort thing.
Yeah.
So it was easy, counterbalances the math problem. So...
Yeah. I was just sort of thinking about that. I was like, if maths is down here, you kind of need to have like 2 or 3 higher subjects, right? That can kind of, let's not look at the bottom, mum and dad. Let's look at the top ones because I'm really crushing those.
And that's the thing with them. They were like, well, if you were really doing crap at everything else, we would be concerned. But considering you have high marks in other areas, we're not. Maths is just one subject. Like you'll be fine.
Yeah. So they put away the dreams of you being a physicist.
Yep. They stored that back in the box. They're like, oh
cool.
No,
we're not going to have the next Einstein here.
No, definitely not.
Stephen Hawking, she is not.
No, not happening.
Okay, so now it's interesting. You say you didn't want to be a loser. Why? So I'm a bit older, and I remember certainly it was challenging for myself through high school. I was bullied, but I was always the drama kid.
Yep.
So lunchtimes for me was I'd disappear to the drama room and would watch movies. And everyone was like, "Can we come watch movies?" It's like, well, you're actually not part of the drama club. We're gonna beat you up then.
VIP.
Pretty much.
You're not it.
Yeah, and there'd be times where we would go put movies on during lunchtime, and kids would pay to come and watch. It'd only be $1.
Side hustle.
Yeah, pretty much. And we did it as fundraising for, like, if we were doing Shakespeare events or anything like that. We would just try and raise money however we could. So it was quite cool.
Yep.
But I never thought of myself as a loser. I thought of myself as an outcast.
Yeah.
I went to an all boys school,
Yeah.
so I get the single sex side of things. My school was very focused on rugby because we were nationally known.
Was this boys' high?
Gisborne Boys
Gisborne
High,
Boys High. Okay.
not Whangarei.
Okay.
And cricket is what we were known at. Two sports I completely sucked at.
Yeah.
I liked soccer, and I was bloody good at badminton. Not exactly the most masculine or manly sports when you're going
As long
to.
as you love it,
I loved it,
then yeah.
but I'd get shit for it because it wasn't rugby or
They're probably
cricket.
just jealous.
They were.
They were jealous.
I'll say that.
They were
I feel
jealous.
better about myself. But why did you consider yourself to be a loser? We'll use quotation marks. And then why did you make such a conscious decision? And did you go, that's it, I don't want to be perceived as a loser, an outcast, a weirdo?
I literally was like, I had the worst self-esteem. I was like, right, I literally thought the worst of myself, not to like a terrible extent, but with the girls that were...
Is this coming off the back of the glandular fever?
Yes.
And also the realisation that dance is no longer your passion as well?
Yeah, and also
and
a
the
lot
bullying.
And the bullying. And the girls, dance wasn't a sport, they reckon. And I was like, oh, really? Like, I don't think you realise the physical labour that the sport... It's a sport.
The competition.
Yeah.
The competitiveness.
Like, bottom line, it's a sport. And I have a good friend, one of my best friends, she used to dance for Wadpa. And she was like, it's the most cutthroat sport you could be a part of because it just... Your morals, body confidence, everything just goes out the window because you're surrounded by such, like, eyeballs focusing on every move. And if it's not the kids, it's the mums. It's like, it's dance mums. Like, it's no joke. Like, it's quite cutthroat. And so when I finished it, I was like, oh, weight's lifted off my shoulder. Like, I don't like this anymore. I'm not doing it. Also gives me free time. Like, no long practices after school because who wants to do that till like 9 o'clock at night?
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
so
then,
are we talking like 2, 3, 4 hours?
Yeah. So I'd finish school, I'd go home and I'd have to pack dinner. I'd have like 2 hours with one class. Yeah. And then dinner. Yeah. Then 2 hours with another class. I was knackered.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And a girl that Leanne and I went to uni with, her name's Kayla, we were part of the same dance group.
You're part of the same dance group?
Yeah, Leanne, she was our backup. No,
Leger was a dancer?
No. Actually was a dancer. Were you?
Yeah. There we go, we're finding some stuff out, folks.
Yes.
If anyone has any photos, please feel free to send them to hello@northlandartsconversation.co.nz. That'd
with
be great.
The caption Leger.
Leger.
Leger, that's French.
It is.
By the way. And so our friend Kayla, we were in the same dance company. And we found that out through uni. We both looked at each other, we were like, we know each other.
Yeah, right.
And we kind of did like a dive into what we did with dance and stuff. And it's a lot. She does it as a teacher, like, good for her, not for me.
Okay. But would it be fair to say that your experience was probably the exception and not the rule, though?
Yeah. Our experience was very different.
Yeah.
I mean, even the males that did it, each experience is different.
Yeah.
Each dancer had their weaknesses and their strengths. Mm-hmm. Mine was my legs because I have quite long legs. And at that age, my legs were growing faster than the rest of my body.
Right, okay. Yeah.
So that was a strength of mine.
Yeah.
And my feet, apparently. Thanks.
Who do we have to thank for feet?
My parents.
Dad?
Cheers, Dad. Like,
yeah,
like I don't know. It was just... Yeah, I just didn't like being compared, which they did a lot of comparing.
Right, okay, yeah.
And then, I left it and I was like, right, high school, I want to, not be bullied. Yeah. And so I did a 360 and I became a cold-faced bitch because I just had my wall up.
Right, okay.
I've had enough girls call me names, all of this. And then, obviously, when you get bullied, you can turn into a bully.
Yes, quite easily.
And I became a bully to the girls that bullied me. Because I was like, well, you dish it to me, I'm going to dish it back. Yeah. Which is not my proudest moment, but it was...
but it's an honest moment, right?
Like, those girls, I'm like... in high school, like, oh, because it's like, you did it to me, so I'll make you feel what I feel. But obviously I grew out of that phase.
Yeah, two wrongs, right?
Yeah, so I was
Yeah.
like, you know what, that's not me.
Yeah.
I'm not that person. So I just...
Yeah, and as we get older, we often have these sort of realizations where we go, man, I was really a wanker.
Yeah, like
not a nice person.
Yeah, like I regret it, but also it's like, I don't know what else a 12 to 13-year-old going on high school after being bullied. Like, I was called the most terrible names in primary school. Like, people generally thought I was bulimic, anorexic, chicken legs, because I was so, like, little toothpicks with a backpack.
In a bucket of KFC.
Literally, toothpicks with a backpack, because I just didn't put on any weight until high school. And then I just packed on what is normal weight. It just came faster. So people were like, oh, like, she's anorexic. I'm like, you can't say that. That's terrible.
Well, the thing is, you can say it.
You can, but
it's whether or not you should.
You should. Like, just maybe let's not. But they said it anyway, and that's also something that fueled, like, oh my gosh, like, I'm actually a loser. So going to high school, I was like, nah, no one is going to talk to me like that. Like, I dare you to try, because now I'm, like, annoyed with you. Like, I'm annoyed, and you're, like, pissing me off, and I have better things to do than listen to you call me names. And
so high school, as we've talked about, high schools are really the kind of the turning point for you.
Yeah.
You put on this RBF, resting bitch face.
Yep, still have it.
I wouldn't agree. And that you are welcome. But then, you dive more into the... do you dive straight into design, or do you dive more into, like, pastels and pencils or paints?
Yeah, so year 9 and 10, we didn't have, like, graphic design class.
Right, okay.
It was like a smorgasbord for year 9, so it was a little bit of everything.
Right.
And then year 10, you could pick your subjects.
Okay.
So I picked art, which was all painting. And drawing.
That's really following Dad, yeah?
Yep. And then I did DVC, which is a design visual communication, which was like architect.
Yep.
So I did that.
Oh, wow. Architectural drawing. Okay, interesting.
And like vanishing points and stuff. So I did, those were my two like chosen subjects. So I did art for one term, DVC for another term.
Right.
Loved them. Got great marks. And then it was year 11, because that's your in NCA years. Not anymore, but your beginning of your NCA.
Yeah.
And then it was photography.
Okay.
Excelled in photography. Loved it.
Do you still do it?
No. I wish I didn't drop it.
Okay.
Because I loved it, and I did a lot of photo manipulation, and I did.
Oh yeah, wow,
like,
of course.
Great. I excelled, endorsed with all these great marks, so I was like
nice.
Stoked.
Yeah.
And then year 12, they split the two subjects into digital design and photography.
Right, okay.
And it was like one of those things where you shouldn't take two portfolios at high school, because you are going to brain rot. But I loved it. It was a time of my life. Yeah. And then I did art history as well.
Oh, beautiful, yeah.
I did art history, and I loved that subject. It's so amazing. It's one of those subjects that even if you don't like art, you should just take it anyway.
Yeah, high school I did classics and art history. I love both of those.
I failed classics.
Classics is easy.
I failed.
How?
I asked stupid questions.
Give me an example.
I swore I would take this to my grave.
No.
But I'll tell you anyway.
Go on, let's have it. Let's have it out.
One of my best friends, her name's Catherine, and we were in the same class.
Not Leger.
Not Leger. We were in the same class in high school since year 9.
Yes.
Every single class for 5 years.
Yeah.
And we took classics. I only took it because I needed an English rich subject.
Yeah, that's definitely
and
classics,
and I was like, right, I'll just take this because I thought it was going to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
We were learning about, we were learning about Mount Vesuvius.
Yes.
And when did it erupt? Like, what year was that?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a couple of years.
Well, I'd say.
Oh no. Can I just point out, I did dye my hair blonde at one point, so the following question makes sense.
Okay.
I asked my teacher if there were any photos of the actual eruption of said Mount Vesuvius. The camera wasn't invented until like
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So that was
okay.
the day where I left classics and never looked back.
Fair enough. Okay.
And my throat is closing because I'm so embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. Why did that come out of my mouth?
Okay. So I saw a really interesting meme on Facebook recently. It was a picture of what looked like Egyptian people carrying the things that they used to create the pyramids, right?
Yeah.
And someone had captioned it saying proof that Egyptians built the pyramids. And someone underneath was like, love to see the camera. Because they were done in 2000 BC. You show me that camera, I'm impressed.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Look, I can understand your abandon of classics.
My issue with that question was I was so confident in myself that I was asking the best question.
Did you came at a place? Okay. Here's the thing:
Yeah.
is you came from a place of honesty.
Yeah.
You didn't ask it as an ignorant question.
No.
You didn't ask it as a I just want to appear ditzy question, right?
No, I went
Is
in there
it
with full
Like
confidence.
truth.
Yeah. I was like, I want photos of this eruption
Right.
right now to back up my like 3,000 word
Yeah.
essay. I
yeah,
want
definitely.
it. And you have it. I know you do.
Of course. I
When
mean,
the
there's
yeah.
the Vesuvius one, and then there's the Pompeii one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could do that as like, portraiture shows.
Yeah, and I was going to do, videography with the camera that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
And I was going to take that to my grave.
What's the
There
worst
was
that can happen?
only one person knew about this. Now there's 3 people.
Okay.
And however many more that watch this.
Yeah.
So,
and listen, because it's also on audio platforms.
Like...
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not my brightest moment. And it actually like eats me up inside because I cannot believe that came out of my mouth. Yeah.
I mean, it happens, right?
It shouldn't, but it did.
But it does. We all say
Yeah.
dumb shit from time to time.
Yeah.
I just happen to have a microphone when I tend to say it.
Yeah. It was not my brightest moment, but
Yeah, it's fine.
that was like a million years ago, like Vesuvius.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So,
Unfortunately, videos could have been taken of that.
That's what I had hoped.
Yes. No, I meant of your question. Yes.
Yeah, Snapchat did exist. I wish it didn't,
Yeah.
but that
sometimes.
stays right in the grave.
Okay, not
Yeah.
any longer.
No, terrible.
So we get to the end of high school. You've done. Are you still doing 2 portfolios at this point?
Yep, I did my 2 portfolios, year 12 and 13, and I dedicated every single breathing moment to those subjects. And it paid off because I endorsed with excellence, I think, both
Wow.
years in both subjects,
Yeah.
back to back.
So the 2 that you took were
Photography and design,
design.
digital design, and then I repeated it in my last year. And I was like, and because you add another panel for your board.
Yep.
So I was like, right, I've got a whole year to like bust out this great board
Yeah.
to either get me a scholarship or whatever. I didn't get a scholarship, but I enjoyed doing it. And I'd spend majority of my lunchtimes there, just my head on the computer, just doing all of it back to back.
It sounds like there's a lot of discipline and drive there.
Yep. I was always brought up with
Like a hard work ethic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hard work ethic. And at the time I was also working part-time all through high school.
At Happy Dragon.
Yep. I worked there from when I was 12 to 17.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. 12 to 17. Yep.
Holy cow.
I was there for years, and then like it got me all through high school.
Yeah.
Got me all the things I wanted to buy, and obviously putting all this extra effort into school.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to go right through, get all 3 years. Great marks in all my design subjects. Great marks in English.
Yeah.
I did really well in English. Art history did really well. Science, not my thing. Maths, not my thing.
Yeah.
But I had the option of actually dropping maths in year 12,
But you didn't take it.
but I didn't,
Why is that?
because I felt like I needed to learn. I needed it under my belt, and with my job now, I use it every single day.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So we finish high school. We've got stellar marks for anything artistic.
Yep.
practical maybe not so much.
No.
Where did you go to from here? Did you have like a gap year? Did you just dive straight back into study? How did it kind of play out for you?
I had a gap year. I wanted to go to AUT.
Nice.
Yeah, all my friends at the time were all going to uni. My boyfriend at the time moved to Auckland.
Yeah.
And everyone that I knew here moved there. So I was And then I had another friend who moved to Wellington. So we're all diverse and split.
Yeah.
And they all got into unis, and I was like, I can't afford to go to uni. Like, I didn't know the ins and outs. I didn't know squat about student loan, student allowance, didn't know anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll just work for a year. So I did stupid hours at Countdown for 4 years.
4?
Yep.
So you didn't have one gap year?
No, I had a gap year. I just worked full time during uni because Countdown don't know how to
do part time. Yeah.
So I did a gap year and I worked all through like 7 days a week. Like, it was stupid. Wow. It got me through.
Yeah.
Grateful for it. But then I still had my heart set on AUT.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, right, I'm gonna go to AUT, and then I end up at Nortec. Which I do not regret my decision, and I'm so glad I didn't go to AUT.
Okay.
I'm so glad I went to Nortec instead.
Why?
Because it was multimedia.
Right, okay.
And doing stuff that I was going to go and do a communication design degree at AUT, and I was going to go there, apply for the halls. I can get a transfer from this Countdown to that Countdown. I've got family.
Yeah.
And then I just Googled design courses, and there was one at Nortec, and I was like, right, I'll go there instead. Thousands of dollars cheaper.
Yeah.
I can still keep my job here.
Yes.
Still live with my parents.
Rent-free.
Rent-free. Well, I had to pay rent. But anyway.
It's nothing compared to the halls.
No. And I'm also home.
Yeah.
Where a lot of friends were coming back and forth because they're homesick. And also COVID, I'm glad that I was here and not there.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
Yes, of course.
I'm so glad. And then, like, also the people that I met, they're all of different ages. Mm-hmm. Whereas, obviously, AUT, you're all the same age.
Yeah.
You're all fresh off the boat of high school.
Yeah.
You're all partying. You're all doing this. Which is, I went down there for my gap year to do. I just didn't have to do the study part. So I went into the partying. Didn't do the study part.
Yeah.
So, no, Nortec was great.
Yeah.
Smaller, not like lovely people. And it's just more intimate, more hands-on with your tutors. You don't have 500 students to compete with.
Is it still going?
Nortec.
Yeah.
No,
the course.
They sacked it.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, I think they sacked it.
That's dumb.
Which is so upsetting because I had a great time.
Yeah.
I had a great time with the course. Obviously, some things I didn't like, but yeah, I was gutted.
You're never going to love everything.
No. But it was, animation. Didn't like it.
Video editing?
And video editing. I hated it. But I did it. And I passed.
Yeah.
But it was my graphic design where I excelled in.
Okay.
And I was stoked.
We do it. Now this is interesting because you're probably one of the few people that's kind of found something that you like and you're kind of stuck with it, and then you're kind of making your way into the industry because you come out of that and you directly almost dive into a job. Yeah,
I hadn't finished uni and I got the job.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so we had an assignment for work experience, and I emailed 6 design businesses up here.
Yeah.
No one replied to me, or no one was willing to take on a student until my job now. The manager was like, "Yep, come in," and when I was like, "Oh shit." He's like, "Yep, come on, we've got jobs, and I'll walk you through it." And I also knew the guy that was a designer there because we went to school together.
Right, okay, yeah.
So I had known him prior.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, true, I know someone. It's not going to be that, daunting.
Yeah.
And then so I did that for 15 hours, I think it was.
Okay, yeah.
Of work experience.
Still doing Countdown as well at this point? Far out, okay.
Yep. I was doing Countdown. I was working 7 days a week, 4 till 9. 7 days a week. So
Wow.
I'd go to uni,
Yeah.
I'd come home right after our lecture,
Yeah.
have a nap, go to work because I was so exhausted from just going like this. And
Yeah.
then on top of this work experience, so I did like 3 hours at this work experience,
Yeah.
do the uni, go to Countdown, rinse and repeat for like a week.
Far out.
Yep. It was hard out. It was hardcore. And then like a couple months later, I got a message from my friend that works at where I work now. And he was like, oh, there's a job opening. Do you want it? And I was like, what? He's like, yep. Like they want to give it to you. And I was like, are you sure? They're like, yeah,
Wow.
because I had already known what I was
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
And I literally went in, got my contract, no interview, signed it, cool, you're on your books. I left Countdown, which was the best day of my life. I handed in my 2 weeks. I was like,
I'm
fucking
out.
see ya,
Yeah.
I'm out. You can shove your ham somewhere else. Like, I'm gone. And then I didn't
Poor ham.
Deli Girl.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Deli Queen.
Which Countdown?
Tiki.
Ha!
I was working everywhere. I was in 3 departments all the time.
Yeah.
Bakery, which was like 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, bakery, deli, and online. So I was like, I'm handing my resignation. You can all get stuffed. I'm going to finally do something that I want to do.
Yeah.
And then November
That's funny.
14th, I started my job.
Wow.
And I was doing part-time because I still had uni.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I couldn't do, so I was doing Monday and Friday.
Okay.
And then as soon as we finished the last class, full-time on the books, and I've been full-time since.
Wow.
So I literally was still doing classes while
Yeah.
I had this job.
So you're a really good example of someone who's kind of turned, a bit of a passion and a love into what is ostensibly going to be a full-time career. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a really interesting question for you. They say do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. But then the flip side of that is if you do something you love, it ends up becoming a job anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you think about your time at school and uni and you're just creating for the sake of creating and you're getting all your creative expression out versus now where you have mandates and briefs and client guides and stuff like that, do you still get the same level of satisfaction and expression that you had when you were in high school and uni?
It's different to what I thought it would be.
Let's explain.
Like, obviously in high school, it's your own brief.
Yes.
And, like, it's pretty free reign for it.
Yeah.
Like, we made a business. And it could be whatever I wanted, whatever colours I want, whatever font choice I want. I was like, I love this.
Yeah.
Uni, obviously, was more structure.
Yes.
Because you had to follow a certain thing.
Guidelines,
Yep,
right?
guidelines. And I obviously wasn't just doing design. I was doing painting and animation. And I had briefs and assignments. And I was like, okay, graphic design is nothing what I thought it would be. Going into it, it's like what the client says, the client goes. You know what I mean?
Right.
If they want to mix purple and yellow together, they get purple and yellow. If they want to use Comic Sans, God help me, they use Comic Sans.
Wow.
I do get satisfaction when I can provide professional opinions. Don't use Comic Sans, please use this. And they're like, oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you. That is my job. And obviously when clients love your work so much and they just thank you to high heavens because you're the best thing since sliced bread, I'm like, I love that.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of people that just thank you so much for your design. I would have never thought, and I'm like, it's what I love to do. Like, I love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So on the flip side of that, obviously we joked right at the start of the podcast that you have your nana moments. Do you still create for yourself?
Yep. So I recently moved house, so I wanted to put stuff on the wall.
Right.
So I'm slowly looking at things that I want to put on the wall, and my new thing is 3D illustration. I just decided...
idea what that is. Is that like the lenticular things?
It's just a tool that I found on Illustrator on Adobe, and I went with it, and I'm now creating a 3D calendar for my job that we release every year, and I wanted to do something different. So I pitched it to my boss, and he's like, yeah, go for it. So it's like 3D font, inflating, like text, block letters,
Far
graphics.
out, okay.
Yep. And it's something that I can just put under my belt. Like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
So I'm making little 3D prints at the moment for my room, and I love it. It's so fun.
You kind of, and I guess because you're in the industry,
Yep.
you have the ability to spend some time researching whatever new techniques and things are coming out. So you kind of have the option to implement them quite
Yep.
early on. You go, I read this article. This looks kind of cool, and then you can execute it and go, wow, it's probably not so much for work,
Yeah.
but maybe personal.
Yeah, Blender. I don't know
Yep.
if you've... So I
I
learned how to do Blender, and that was so hard.
Yeah.
And I actually lost all my work because I pressed the wrong button. But that was sad. But it's a tool that I just Googled.
Yeah.
And I'm trying it out, and it's different, and people use it in movies and stuff, which I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I've been watching tutorials,
Yep.
more Illustrator and Photoshop.
There is, man, YouTube is a wealth of...
Yeah.
I won't say wealth of knowledge. I'll say a wealth of introductions.
YouTube is very good. I'll sit there for hours just YouTube and,
Yeah.
side tabs and just work through a tutorial. And it's paid off because I can do the stuff that I would have never thought existed
Yeah.
a couple of years ago. Even at North Tech, I would have never thought about it.
How driven would you say you are?
Very. Like, once I've got my mind on something, I'm
Yeah.
going to get it.
Right. Okay.
And one of them was my job. I
Yeah.
left high school, I was like, I'm going to become a graphic designer if it's the last thing I do.
Yeah.
And I am now a graphic designer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, graphic designer, 23?
Yep.
Where to from here then? What are the next goals that you want to tick off?
I want to actually look at teaching.
Really? Interesting.
Specifically high school, tertiary,
Yeah.
design course. Design
Right,
classes.
okay.
Yeah. I thought about doing a teacher's course just to get a certificate.
Yeah.
And see where that takes me, because that's more hands-on
Yes,
with
yeah.
students. If not, ideally Auckland, or Wellington, that's a hub for arts and crafts and design.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
but-
Well, Wellington used to be.
yeah, I'm not sure anymore, but
Yeah.
at the time when I was like, where do I want to be?
Yeah.
Wellington was it.
Yeah.
I was like, that is the place. I wanted to go to Massey down there as well, or
Yeah.
Victoria.
Yeah. Vic Uni, man.
Yep.
A lot of good nights there. A lot of nights I don't remember, but anyway.
So
yeah.
good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were.
They will be.
Yeah. I get told some dumb shit. Anyway. Okay. All right. So are you going to stick with the graphic design, or are you going to branch out? Are you going to go with the Blender thing? Are you going Hollywood, here I come, baby? Let me work for Marvel or Disney or a studio that does
Yeah. I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
I love poster design.
Yeah.
It's not something I do a lot of because that's just not my demographic at work at the moment. It's like business cards and pamphlets and stuff, like DR flyers. Like, it's not what I do at the moment.
Yeah.
I'd like to become freelance
Oh, yes.
at some stage in my life.
Yeah.
Once I've got more experience
Yeah.
under my belt, like to do freelance, because then I can kind of take the control and put out services of my own.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Go, I'm worth $100 an hour.
yeah. Oh, easily. No, I'm not that. I'm humble, I promise.
You can tell.
Yeah. Cheese. No, I'd like to freelance. But I think once I get my kind of portfolio building,
Yeah.
that's when people look at you and you're like, oh, this is what I do and this is what I offer. And
Yeah.
ideally, I have a feeling I'll end up in Auckland
Mm-hmm.
at some point, whether that's for design or just even if I take the teacher thing, I might end up teaching in Auckland.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm.
And is that set in stone for you? Or is that something that is kind of a moving piece?
It's something that I can balance with working full time.
Right.
So
okay.
it's something that I am heavily looking at.
Yeah.
I also wanted to do law.
Oh, okay. Wow.
For a while. Yeah.
Okay, don't need maths and law, which is good.
Like, I wanted to do law. And if I was going to do it, I was going to do it like next year while I'm still young.
Far out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I love the law. A law-abiding citizen. I'm not, but I just find it so interesting. And I'd work for like family court.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know. The world is an oyster.
It is. Okay.
But at the moment, graphic design.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think it's something that even if you went into law, that you would still do?
Like graphic design?
Yeah.
It would be more like the freelance hobby thing.
Right, the side hustle.
The side hustle.
It's not like a lawyer needs a hustle, though.
No, but it's something... Accountant. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that'll work out well.
Yeah, no, I would keep it on the side.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to lose it because I've done all this hard work to get to where I am. It's not something I would just throw on the burner and be like, okay, I'm done with you now.
Yeah.
Like, I'd still keep it for something. You never know when you might need it.
Well, I mean, you're at a point in your life where you really have no idea what's going to go on, right?
And that's the thing is, like,
Yeah.
I'm still, like, so young. And I like to say that I'm not, like, super successful, but I'm on a good path right now.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, I'm fresh out of uni, landed a dream job as far
Yeah.
as dream jobs go my age.
Yeah.
So I'm not really in a rush to kind of do anything else. At the moment, it's working out great.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
23 and you've got your shit together.
Yep, 23, graphic designer, and learning how to print. So what more?
Yeah.
Yeah, printer.
It's not Control P either.
It's not. It's control.
86 steps.
86,000 steps plus the paper.
Yeah. It's funny.
And I'm like, oh, like, why aren't you printing? Oh, I forgot the paper.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. What do you mean you need paper to print?
Yeah.
Like, oh, crap.
Strange
okay,
how that
restart.
works.
It is weird.
Yeah.
Thought it just printed into thin air, but
Yeah.
that doesn't.
Yeah, on something, a visible paper.
Yep. But, so, yeah.
Wow. Thank you for joining us. This has actually been really cool. And probably for you, you're probably like, man, I can't believe that I've actually done this.
Yeah, I was not expecting to do this on a Wednesday night. I'm usually in bed with my tea and my slippers and my books and my doily
Yeah.
at the ripe age of 23.
It is 7:54.
Oh, pushing it.
I know. Now we'll get you out of here by 8:15. You'll be home in time
wonderful.
for a... Yeah.
Yeah, plan on getting some Mackies on the way home.
Oh, God. It's evil.
Oh, nuggies, yum.
Ashlee, thank you very much for coming in and joining us. This has actually been really cool. We'd love to have you back on if you do get a portfolio together and you do decide you ever want to exhibit or anything like that. Man, that would be... Let's save that for another podcast, shall we?
Under pressure. Dun, 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 dun.
Let's do that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
No, thank you.
There you go, guys. Ashlee Campbell. Hopefully you made it all the way through. Just very, very cool. It was some really interesting insights in there. And for me, you know, we've had a wide range of artists in terms of ages and where they are in their journey and how long they've been doing things for. You know, I always like to reflect and kind of pick a moment or two that I kind of got the most out of. And, you know, as I said in the intro, very disciplined, very focused, you know, knows what she wants to do, which is super cool. But it was interesting hearing her talk about her glandular fever. I'm going to elaborate more on my camera. The reason I say that is, you know, I've had glandular fever before, and, you know, it was bad, and then it kind of stuck with me for a little bit. But, you know, she talks about how it was, you know, it was with her for over a year. As she was a kid, kind of an intermediate. And, yeah, you know, that or the last year of primary school. And, you know, that would have been so incredibly tough. You know, because in the podcast she talks about, you know, how she was all, you know, what did she say? Toothpicks on a, you know, for legs. So already a skinny kid. And then she just lost all this extra weight. And then all of a sudden, man, it just all went sideways for her. So, you know, hearing how she kind of came out of that and then, you know, was able to, you know, work out where she was and what she wanted to do. And then talking about, you know, how tough high school was for her. And, you know, how, you know, she went from being bullied to being the bully, which, you know, is interesting because, you know, for those of us that have been bullied, yeah, definitely, it's always tough. No kid should ever be bullied. Unfortunately, it happens. But then almost flipping the tables on the people that are bullying you and becoming the thing that you don't like. And I thought that was interesting because she was, you know, mature enough to be able to look back on it with reflection and go, yeah, no, what I did was wrong. And, you know, that's pretty amazing, you know, to be able to do that. So, look, I hope you got as much out of the podcast as I did. Always great to have an up-and-coming artist. And, you know, she's certainly got the world ahead of her, which is very, very cool. So where can you, our listeners or viewers, find out more of what we do? Well, I'm going to run through all the details for you now. So you can find us on... actually, I'll do the video first. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all Northland Artist Conversation. Hopefully it's somewhere down there if you're watching. Or you, again, Northland Artist Conversation. For the audio, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and I would have said Google Podcasts, but they've just announced that is dead. That platform will be gone. So it will be, I guess, now become YouTube Podcasts or something along those lines. We've yet to have any notification as to how that looks, but by the time this episode comes out, we'll have a bit more of an idea. But again, you can find all of that audio information, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, by searching Northland Artist Conversation. If you're an artist, and you think you'd love to come and sit down in the chair with us, or even if you're outside of Whangarei and you would love to be involved, look, we are set up for remote podcasts now as well. That's wicked. We're very stoked about that. And you know, please feel free to reach out. You can contact us by emailing hello@northlandartistconversation.co.nz. We keep it simple, because that's the goal. It just makes everyone's life a bit easier, eh? You know, so actually, easiest way to do it, Google Northland Artist Conversation. You'll find us somewhere in the search history. Good stuff. Very cool. I'm going to flick back to my wide camera now. Yeah, so definitely an interesting year. We've had some real highlight guests, and, you know, we... having changed how we do things as well has actually worked out a lot better for us in the long run as well. So that's been very cool. Met some amazing people along the way. Had some phenomenal conversations. And we continue to look forward to those for the rest of the year. So on behalf of myself, Editor Lee, who is in the studio with me tonight, Editor Lee, say hi. She can't because she hasn't got a microphone in front of her. I did that as a bit of a joke. So on behalf of myself and the entire Northland Artist Conversation team, thank you so much for joining us. Stick around, view more of us. We'll see you guys real soon.